We could look at the media's portrayal of toxic masculinity, basically shaming men just for being men. We could look at schools, forcing boys at a very young age to act more like girls, docile, submissive, and more attention, which may explain why so many young boys are said to have ADHD. We could also say a reason would be we teach young boys to walk away from bullies instead of holding their ground and fighting back. Walking away to get help from someone else makes a man or boy feel weak. No ifs or buts, it's a huge bullet to a man's pride. You want to give a man pride and teach him to defend himself. If you want to find a strong man, find a man that has goals, has a strong moral compass, knows who he is, doesn't back down from bullies, and shows signs that he would be a good father. A weak man in today's society. A man who can't defend himself. A man who's immature. A man who can't accept reality. A man who's too afraid to get hurt or hurt others. A man who only complains. A man who can't let go. The number one thing you should teach your son is how to think for himself, how to separate himself from the collective, from that high mentality, from that group thinking out there. Teach your son to trust his gut instincts and think for himself. No matter how old your son is, you can start educating him. Especially if he's in school, say elementary school, the kids love to mimic each other. They love to follow whatever is popular. You want your son to be able to see through all of that indoctrination, all of that bullshit brainwashing, all of that marketing. Train him to see through that and really judge for himself if it's something worthy that needs to be praised and followed. This is, unfortunately, which we don't teach young boys enough. Being able to think of themselves. They are just literally following what their teachers and society are telling them. That's why our boys, our young boys, are growing up so feminized, because they are being raised by a feminized society. Unfortunately, these days many kids are growing up in fatherless homes, with single mothers. They are going to schools taught by more women, and round the clock is surrounded by women. They really don't have any male role models. They don't have a strong male role model in their lives. Not even in movies these days or television. All of these strong masculine characters like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, etc. have been taken away from us. We can't rely on those guys because they are much older now. But we don't have replacements for these guys. Today's film industry has really not produced any masculine male role model that we can look at him and say, yeah, I want to be just like that guy. Okay, in James Bond, in Casino Royale, where everybody was praising him to be super masculine in the movie, Craig turns around and does a PSA, wearing women's clothing, wearing makeup, promoting feminism. Guys, teach your sons to see through all these things. You need to teach your sons that there are hidden dangers out there, especially when it comes to movies and TV. Because there's a shit ton of feminist propaganda. If these movies are not promoting feminism, they are promoting broken homes and single motherhood. Your son should realize that these things are bad. Why don't they promote that boys should act manly and girls should be more feminine? Because society is now confused and they continue to make such movies to make money. These are all the things that you need to teach your sons. To spot the propaganda behind whatever they see or listen to be able to be aware that he's being mentally manipulated by the social narrative, by mainstream media, by all these Hollywood movies and TV shows which look innocent when they have the kids logo on them. Whenever I see animated kids movies these days, I say let me guess what kind of stuff will be shown ahead. It will be ideologies demoralizing society. They are trying to pussify the young guys. Just check by yourself. Teach them to see through this hidden propaganda. Teach them to think for themselves. The rules of game your father never taught you. 1. Be in a relationship for the right reasons. Why are you in a relationship? Are you doing it because you're too scared to be alone? Because it's easier than ending things and living the life you really want? Because your family and friends think your partner is perfect for you? Or are you in a relationship because you already have an amazing life and you've met someone whom you want to share it with? Are you in a relationship because you are genuinely compatible with another person and want to go through life together? The why behind your relationship is everything. If you aren't dating someone for the right reasons, it's going to implode, or you're going to spend your entire life in abject misery wishing that you were with someone else. 2. Screw communication. Focus on respect. Communication is important, but it's only part of the battle. If you don't truly and deeply respect your partner and value them as a person, then communication isn't worth a damn. You must respect your partner and hold them in high esteem to make a relationship work. You need to value their opinion, their path, and their thoughts. If you don't, then why the hell are you dating them in the first place? Sure, you can communicate well with someone you don't respect, but there will always be a pervasive sense that something is missing from your relationship because you don't truly value them as an individual. Finding someone you can communicate with is great. Finding someone you respect is better. 3. A healthy relationship requires 2 healthy individuals. If you don't love yourself, if your partner doesn't love you, or if you are in the relationship to cover up old wounds and escape your inner demons, you are setting yourself up for failure. A healthy relationship requires 2 healthy individuals. Before you set out to date someone, first fall madly in love with yourself. Get your own life together. Learn to love and respect yourself, care for your body, kick bad habits, and create something you're passionate about. Once you have your life in order, you can then enter into another relationship from a place of power and true love. For you are going to grow in unexpected ways. Prepare for it. You are both going to grow in ways you cannot expect. You can either embrace or fight these changes, but you cannot avoid them. Your partner may become more driven or less driven. They may learn something about themselves that changes everything. They may find or leave religion. They may change careers, find new passions, or throw out old hobbies they used to share. Prepare for these changes and growth and realize that you cannot escape this reality no matter whom you date. 5. Rewire your brain and its thought process. We have been programmed by society and this instant gratifying culture to be laid back and careless. You must understand this as a man. Men today are weaker than ever, not just physically but emotionally and mentally too. There is no sense of confidence among young men, no self-esteem whatsoever. And that's not only our fault. Our brains have been plagued by so many misconceptions. We as men need to step up and conquer our place in society. We need to take cognizance of the situation. We must stop feeding our brains the junk that social media presents to us, the absolute trash that as men need to be more sensitive. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to say that we should hide our feelings and be more reserved with our emotional side. Not at all. But that men should abide by the feminine traits of the culture and just be outright simp. As a man, you must know that men were meant to lead. That's how nature intended it to be. You should be unpredictable and learn to take a stand for yourself as a man. Unfortunately, this is absolutely rare in today's young men. Never ever simp for a girl. Develop yourself to the extent that girls chase you instead. Stop ignoring this massive threat to masculinity. Get up and start your day, fellow kings. 6. Material comforts make weak men. Simple as that. The fact that a patriotic identity doesn't play a major role in the US anymore means men are not in constant threat of being forced to fight, and by that token, their preparedness and gender are assigned the role of being protector. They've been told it's okay to be emotional, whereas men of the past were told to suck it up, and therefore had no choice but to learn to be comfortable in their position. Fathers had a role to teach youth that their boys will have to endure hardship. Now they are coddled. Worse even, some are without fathers or have weak men for parents who endured the same terrible conditioning. They aren't taught that freedom and manliness are not founded on selfishness, but understand their role are individuals who help protect society, both female and young. 7. Men should have self-discipline, not a loose tongue, not lose actions. That's why we have weak men. People have told us it's okay to be something we are not, much like women have been told they should be something they are not. Women wanted feminine men. Now you got them. Tatted up muscly men that cry on command. Once women work out that they can't have a strong man that is also their counselor, shopping friend, girlfriend, etc., they can start to have realistic expectations and let men be men again. Congrats women, you ended up with hairless, feminine men that are emotionally weak and lack the balls to stand up to your bullshit unrealistic expectations. Indulge in your precious snowflake man children.